Welcome back to Stocklabs, another market recap. We are most of the way through April, and it was a pretty kind of gross week for the market overall. The indexes really got slapped around, especially the NASDAQ, down 5.3% for the week. S&P was down 3%. IWM down 2.75%. The Dow just flat, 1 basis point to the upside. And gold had a pretty good week, and crude had kind of a bad week for the first time in a little while, down 3.3%. So, and where were bonds? Bonds were down 1.4%, so kind of risk off with yield still pressing to the upside. If we look at the leadership stocks, they had a bad week. So Google was the top performer, only down 2%. Microsoft down 5.4, kind of in line with the NASDAQ. Same thing, Meta down almost 6. Amazon 6. Apple 6.5. Nvidia 13.5%. Tesla 14%. So pretty big-ish moves to the downside for some of these stocks that have seen like not that much volatility in many months, with the exception of maybe you could say Tesla has already been moving to the downside. And same thing with Apple, has been softer, but this has been one of the worst weeks for them in a while. So breadth-wise, if we look at industries, red kind of across the board, except utilities were up, so that's a little bit of a risk-off signal. Tech down 4.5%, slightly better than the overall NASDAQ, but still pretty gross. Healthcare down 5.5%. Services 2, industrials 3, financials 0.75% to the downside, consumer 1.25% almost, basic materials 1.75% to the downside. Subsector wise, didn't have a whole lot of anything doing much leadership. You see healthcare plans up 6%, airlines up 7%. This kind of feels to me like just like a little bit of a squeeze in these when the tech stuff sells off, because a lot of paired positions just get under pressure. So I'm not going to read too much into the airlines being any kind of real market leadership. On the downside, bunch of stuff down over 5%. Solar, big loser. A lot of semiconductor sectors sprinkled in here. EVs again, spec biotech type stuff. All of this is not very risk on ish. So we've got 26 sectors down over 5%, which is, I mean, not like egregious, but if you couple it with the fact that there's hardly anything on the upside, then it just makes it a little bit worse. If we look at breadth by market cap, see here, small caps 1 to 5 billion, down 2%. 5 to 10 billion, 2.2%. 10 to 50 billion, down 1.9%. 50 to 100 billion, down 2%. And 100 billion cap plus, down 1.42%. So actually, if you looked at the overall market, maybe it seemed a little bit like it hung in better than, let's say, the NASDAQ would suggest, because NASDAQ was down 5% on the week. But overall, just red across the board. So, I mean, broadish liquidation type stuff. If we look at intelligence for this week, okay, inverse big oil is bullish. Digital transformation ETF, I think this is some crypto or Bitcoin ETF or something, bullish. Small caps bullish. PFIX, I think this is some bullish rates ETF something. I'm just going to ignore that. And bullish Russell again. So not a whole lot to pick on here, but maybe the Russell kind of stabilizes some. If we look on the downside, there's also not a whole lot on here either. Okay, so ultra short Russell is bearish, so bullish Russell again. Dow Jones Internet is bearish, so bullish the internet stocks in the Dow. China bull shares is bearish, so bearish China. And bear Nvidia ETF is bearish, so I guess bullish Nvidia. I mean, to me, looks like you're going to see more chop. I kind of think you're going to also see more downside, especially in the NASDAQ for the time being. We're almost kind of getting towards oversold, but you could see here, even this, we almost got it on the 12th, but even as the NASDAQ was selling off, our oscillator here was kind of not that interested in it, and it's kind of looking for more pain in order to get down below this blue area. So, I mean, for me, I'm not inclined to like just jump in and throw a bunch of risk on to maybe get some signal here on this 6-month algo being oversold. I mean, 12-month is also kind of close, but I mean, 6-month I'm fine with. So we haven't had one of these since like 6 or 7 months ago, toward the end of November or the end of October 23. So that would be the first oversold signal in a long time for the market that Stocklabs came up with. Other than that, I don't have anything else. So hope you guys have a good week trading out there, and we'll be back next week to see how it all went again. Bye.